New week, new chaos. AI infrastructure is moving so fast right now that by the time I finish this sentence, something probably might have just shipped. So, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to our latest episode of AI Infrastructure Weekly. This week in AI, OpenAI killed Sora, leaked a $122 billion funding round, and Google quietly changed how every developer pays for Gemini. Meanwhile, Anthropic's most powerful model just got leaked. A lot has happened, so let's get into it. On March 26th, a data leak confirmed that Anthropic has a model, which we have never heard of, called Mythos. Internal documents describe it as, quoted, by far the most powerful AI model we have ever developed. It sits above Opus in a completely new tier. Anthropic confirmed that training is done and is already being tested with selected cybersecurity partners. No public release date is yet confirmed. No pricing, just the knowledge that it exists. On March 24th, OpenAI announced that they are pulling the plug on Sora app and the entire video API. The app goes dark April 26th and the API follows on September 24th. The official reason: refocusing on robotics and world simulation research. The honest reason is probably the video generation eats through your resources and the production wasn't catching up. So, if you are a developer and use video APIs, you have got about 6 months to migrate. OpenAI rolled GPT-5.4 Mini to ChatGPT users around March 27. Free and go users get it through Think feature. Everyone else get it as a fallback when rate limits on GPT 5.4 hits. It's not a selectable model in the picker, it's just a kick-in. Small moves on the surface, but it means every free user now have access to reasoning capability model by default. Between March 31st and April 1st, Google launched Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite preview, the first Flash-Lite in Gemini 3 family, and the Nano Banana 2, which is the fastest high-volume image generation model at this time. Gemini 2.5 Flash-Lite preview was shut down, and Gemini 3 Pro preview now automatically redirects to Gemini 3.1 Pro. So, if you are building on Gemini API and haven't checked on your model string recently, now is the time. Starting April 1st, Google began enforcing strict monthly expenditure limits on all paid Gemini API accounts. And it was not an April Fool's prank. Tier 1 is capped at $250 a month, Tier 2 at $2,000 a month, and Tier 3 can go up to $100,000 depending on your arrangement. New users since March 23rd also have to use prepaid billing. You buy the credits upfront and then drain them in real time. So, if you woke up on the April 1st and your Gemini calls started failing, well, now you know why. vLLM dropped the path around March 28th to fix CVE 2026-0994, a proto-burst vulnerability. Along with fix came update to prepare for Transformers version 5. The most interesting work in the release cycle is the KV cache offloading. The engine now selectively stores only frequently used blocks to CPU instead of dumping it everywhere. Two things from SGLang this week. First, Model Gateway version 0.3.0 completely rebuilt the metric layer. 6 layers now covering protocol, routing, streaming, circuit breaking, and more. Workers are identified by UUIDs instead of endpoint URLs. And a single gateway now handles all routing types by Kubernetes service discovery. Second, they published detailed optimization work for running DeepSeek on NVIDIA's GB300 NVL72 using pre-filled decoding disaggregation. The throughput numbers are notable if you are planning deployment on that hardware. OpenAI pushed updates to Codex in late March. Windows Sandbox now enforces proxy-only networking at the OS level, not just environmental variables. That's a real security improvement. The device code login flow is new, which helps when browser-based auth isn't reliable, and the custom model provides can now rotate bearing tokens dynamically rather than just static credentials. Small infrastructure stuff, but it matters if you are running Codex in production or building agents on top of it. On April 1st, again, not a joke, OpenAI closed a $122 billion funding round, valuing the company at $852 billion. Soon they will cross $1 trillion also. Amazon, Nvidia, SoftBank, and Microsoft all participated. OpenAI says it generates around $2 billion a month in revenue and has 900 million weekly active users. The money will be used for compute infrastructure, chips, and cloud partnerships, and building what they are calling a unified AI super app, combining ChatGPT, Codex, and Agent. For context, this is the largest private funding round in history. Zoom out slightly. Crunchbase published Q1 2026 numbers on April 1st, and they were hard to process. $297 billion raised in a single quarter. That's more than the total global VC before 2019. 4 deals, OpenAI, Anthropic, xAI, Waymo accounted for 63% of it. But those 4 exist, so the numbers is what it is. On March 31st, a security researcher spotted something in the NPM registry that wasn't supposed to be there. Anthropic had shipped version 2.1.88 of Claude Code package with a debug map file attached to it. One that points straight to the zip archive on Anthropic's own cloud storage containing the full source code. Nearly 2,000 TypeScript files, 500,000 lines of code. Within hours, it was mirrored on GitHub and forked over 41,000 times. Anthropic confirmed it and called it was a packaging error. Their statement, it was a release packaging issue caused by human error, not a security breach. So, no sensitive customer data or credentials were involved. They pulled the version, but by then the damage was already done. The timing is rough. Anthropic is reportedly preparing to go public late this year. This is the second major information leak in less than a week, and a separate but related to supply chain attack on Exynos NPM package, which hit the same window on March 31st, means any developer who updated Claude Code between midnight and 3:30 UTC that morning should have checked their log files immediately. That's the week. Next week, we will be watching if Claude Mythos goes public and if Anthropic moves on a release date. We will cover it in the same day. So, if this was useful, subscribe. It helps. More than that you can think. See you next time.